here. The little dog from the artist was just running around and sort of tagging on to your humanitarian side. I hear that you recently adopted a rescue dog, and I'm curious as to why a rescue and not.
I've always had dogs. I've almost always had them out of the pound. I think it's a good spot since there's a lot of them, and it brings me a lot of joy to do it. And they seem to be the happiest dogs in the game, so it seemed like a fun thing.
How many do you have?
I only have one, but he eats like for four.
Mr. Payne, right up here, right up front, to your left.
Oh, hi.
Hi, how are you? First of all, congratulations. The movie
Thank
is
you.
great.
Thank you.
You've worked with Jim Taylor on a number of movies. You guys have collaborated on a number of screenplays. And if you could talk about this film and kind of what it means for the both of you, as well as your decision in casting George, and what it was like working with him. So it's kind of a two-part question.
What it means for Jim and me.
Yeah, I mean, just this film compared to the rest, and I mean, obviously the award itself tonight.
Well, I have to include our producing partner, Jim Burke, on that with your question, if I may, because it's really the first film that fulfills why we joined as partners, which was to produce films, ideally, that Jim and I write together, which we didn't happen to do on this one, but then that I direct. And so we are interested in making, all the films, let's say comedies, but human stories, good human stories. And as far as me as a director, and I'm sure I can speak for you.
No.
It's just another movie, maybe a little bit more serious than our previous comedies, but it feels like it's in the same wheelhouse. And casting George, I feel he's a very like-minded fellow, and it was a pleasure to work with him.
Congratulations. Hi, Jeannie.
Kind of tossed up, I like to be liked. But how would it be if I asked you to say in the most personal terms what this means to you? Because I know more than
I do work. This is both of these films being nominated. By the way, for me, it's 3 years of hard work, 3 years of things that mattered to me, and so it felt really nice to have that acknowledgement. But what I really remember and what I do this for is because I really love filmmaking and being part of film, and I know film history, and I know. In 1976, there was Taxi Driver, and there was All the President's Men, and there was Network, and there was Bound for Glory, and there was Rocky, and Rocky won Best Picture, which is a tremendous picture. But I remember all 5 of those movies. That's what I remember. So I'm a big believer in film. That's all. It's what I do for a living, and I really enjoy it. So the acknowledgement is unbelievably nice and unbelievably complimentary. But it's just more encouraging to keep doing what I'm trying to do. Thanks.
In the back, congratulations to all of you from the Greek Reporter. Mr. Payne, for you specifically, you make us all very proud, all Greek Americans in Greece, and I'm pretty sure Greece is celebrating with you tonight. I would like a few words about how your Greek heritage has shaped your movies and their characters.
If it has. If the fact that I'm a second generation Greek American. Say that again? Yeah, then Boro. It might, and I'm just speculating because I can't be sure, but it might have contributed to a certain sense of outsider looking in. I mean, I'm from a very American place, Omaha, Nebraska, but having been in a subculture within Omaha, I always had a sense of being a participant, but at the same time an observer. And also as a Greek, you know that Greeks tend to be very funny, and so I grew up with a lot of humor.
George, Michael Lewitt is from Gossip Cup. Every day there's a rumor about you. You're buying a new villa in Italy. You're buying Italy.
Those are all true, by the way.
And selling for France. It gets more and more absurd.
By the way, you
every
can
day.
buy Italy now at this point.
What is the most? But these are the absurdities. These are the absurdities. What's the most absurd rumor you've heard about yourself?
Oh, I don't. It really is sort of every day now, and it becomes. You have a wonderful site because you actually are trying to find the truth in those, but it's a very hard thing to do because there's so much of it now that is just made up out of whole cloth, and it'll happen, in some overseas, and by the time you wake up, there'll be 3,500 related articles that say, who knows what. But it's always sort of insanity. I used to think there would be some element of truth to it, but not so much anymore.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Question for Mr. Payne. Back to your left, to your right. Mr. Payne, as a director, and a writer, how do you choose your material, or does it choose you, and how does it affect you, the process?
Thank you for saying, does it choose me? Because when I say that myself, it sounds kind of pretentious. But that's actually the impression I have, is that the material, when it finally presents itself to me, and that's rare, that's the real gold in filmmaking, I find, is that flash of an idea that, oh my God, that could be a movie, and one that I would like to make. And I often have the impression that it chooses me. But to be specific, as you can maybe tell from the films we've made, good human stories with some sense of sadness or melancholy and a lot of laughs. I don't want to pigeonhole myself for future films, but that's what it's been to date.
Mr. Clooney, to your left, to your right, sorry.
Stage right.
Stage right. You talked about all these movies that stuck with you for so long. I'm just wondering, besides your win and the win of Mr. Payne, was there any moment from tonight's show, whether it's Ricky being funny or some poignant moment that you'll remember from tonight?
I'll tell you, there's two moments that really struck me. The first was I am in awe of and enjoy the fact that I can call him a friend. I'm in awe of Sidney Poitier. And when he walks out on stage and he's there to present and gets the longest standing ovation earned, I found that to be very emotional, and I found that to be very heartfelt from everyone in the audience who understood what he's meant to cinema for so long and the barriers that he truly broke. And then I think the other moment was Jane Fonda in that dress. My God. She looked great, didn't she? Wow. I think those are the two.
Alexander, what's next for you?
A couple of parties. If I can cast it, in May I'll start shooting a film. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Hi. If I can cast it right, I'll start shooting in May a film for Paramount Studios. It's a father-son road trip from Billings, Montana to Lincoln, Nebraska. And after that, I'll be back at Fox Searchlight with the adaptation of a graphic novel by a fellow named Daniel Clowes, Clowes, who previously had done Ghost World.
You notice that I was not in any of those next films.
George here in red, but I'm not your girlfriend, unfortunately.
You're in trouble.
Just want to get your thoughts on Ricky Gervais. Was he as provocative as you thought? Did he do a good job?
I thought he did a great job. I think that tonight was a much tougher gig because everything there's so much build up to it that it's almost as if, how rough can you go at that point? Are you going to just, who knows what he was going to do? And I thought he handled it tonight like a proper, really good host again, and I thought it was fun. I think people were expecting a lot of trash talk, and I think that, he did a little bit and he did what he does. He makes me laugh. I think he's funny.
George, right here in the middle. Hi. Oh,
We'll do one more. Okay. Well, I heard one last one, so
George, right here.
Yeah.
Not a hard-hitting question, but you and Brad obviously might be up against each other for the Oscars.
You mean physically up against each other?
That too. But do you have any wager going, through this award season with each other? I know you guys like to do little
Brad,
things.
I'll tell you quite honestly, the truth of the matter is Brad is my friend. I've never felt a competition with him. I've only felt a great deal of friendship and support from him and for him. And we don't wager, we don't bet, we just look at each other and slap each other on the back and wish each other well, because he's a friend. Yeah. Have fun, you guys. Thank you. Thank you.